Alright guys, it's time to talk about something that's pretty difficult, especially this year, and that's the pass defense section of the ebook. Now the run defense is, my opinion, a little bit easier this year because a lot of the times defensive tackles will often just kind of break free and make some plays and cause disruption. And on top of that, there are a lot of easy ways to play the run. And I also showed you a few plays in the other videos that you can use to defend against the run. And during the run, it's easy because everybody kind of flows to the ball once they realize it's a run. With a pass, you have people flowing away from the ball, you have people blitzing and pass rushing. So it's kind of two things are going on. When people run the ball, one thing is happening. People are trying to get to the ball carrier. When you pass, people are trying to get to the ball carrier, who is the quarterback, and they're also trying to cover wide receivers. Now, before I really get into the nitty-gritty and everything that you want to hear, I'm really sorry to say that I'm going to have to lecture you real quick because pass defense just simply isn't that simple, and it hasn't been for the past couple years in NCAA and Madden. So I just want to give you guys some jewels and some knowledge to consider. Now, let me pause the game because I need your attention. Listen to me. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Just because you bought this does not mean you will shut people down. People will score on you. People score on me. If you really want to get better at defense, you need to commit to these tips I'm about to tell you. Because calling the plays and everything else I show you is simple enough, but you're not going to start winning. You're not going to start getting better on defense unless you clearly understand what I'm talking about, what I'm about to say after this, if you clearly take it to your heart. Let's get back to that. So I'm going to start with 3 simple tips for success. Don't get beat deep early. Don't allow a deep pass early. Don't allow one play home run touchdowns. Doesn't mean that you're not going to give up a home run touchdown maybe once or twice, but do everything you can to make sure it doesn't happen early. 2, you have to take notes. Whether it's an actual notepad, you go on and play some practice games with your friends or unranked or wherever you do on your dummy account, go on and take notes, whether those are mental notes or physical notes. You have to take notes on what your opponent is doing. Store it in your brain for later so you can call the right defense later. And lastly, you have to adjust. You have to know how to adjust, and you'll learn that from this video. I'm going to teach you all about adjusting, but you got to put it all together to win. Next up, you have to remember your goals. Set your own personal goals, but here are some goals I want you to live by on defense. You're trying to accomplish these 4 things on defense. You're trying to give your offense a chance, 1. 2, you're trying to stop your opponent's first read and sometimes the second read. Now, ideally, when you come out, you're probably not going to know what they're running. They're going to have to beat your base defense first. So once you figure out what they like to do, you can stop the first read. Once you stop the first read, you can see what their second read is. And then from there, we can start shutting them down. 3, don't allow the QB more than 4 or 5 seconds to throw. This can be difficult sometimes, especially when you want to play max coverage pass defense. But I'm going to show you some stuff that you can get off. And really, 4 or 5 seconds, you should get there. You don't want to give them more than that because then they can either scramble or just find somebody open. It's real easy because the field is, if you're on the left or right hash mark, the field is wider than football because the hash marks are wider. So it's harder for the players to defend their areas. And last but not least, just stay patient, guys. Stay patient because it's so easy for me to run a draw right now and running back will just run over everybody and score a touchdown. Stuff like that, stupid stuff's going to happen. You're going to call the right play, and then maybe your defense just, at that point in time, just doesn't react right. So don't worry because it's going to happen back for you on offense. You're going to get some plays too. Now, before we really get into it, one last thing, guys. I want you to ask yourself this. What am I doing on defense? This is what we want to do. All we want to do is learn what our opponent is doing so we can make adjustments. It's like one of those yin-yang things. On defense, you have to learn what you're doing. Why? So you can make adjustments. Okay, how do I make adjustments? Well, you have to learn what they're doing. So it's a back and forth thing. So now that I've stated that, you have to understand what each coverage is that we're going to be running in here and its weaknesses. And also this year, guys, there are just some things that are going to be dominant. So this year so far, we found out that post routes and slants beat a lot of coverages. They really do. They really beat a lot of coverages, and they're super hard to cover. You're also going to be weak. You're going to be very susceptible to weak side defense. And what I mean by that is, let's say we're on the right hash mark. For some reason, and it always seems to happen in NCAA, the left side of the field over here, when you're on the right hash mark, the wide side, defending deep always seems to be a problem on that side. So you're going to have to be aware of that, and you're going to have to keep that in mind when you're picking your defense. Right here, my defense makes a good play, though. And also, for some reason this year, comeback routes are on steroids. I'll go over how you can throw them to always beat defenses in my offensive guide. So you're going to have to know that on any given time, if you're playing a good player and he knows what he's doing, you're probably going to get cheesed by posts, slants, and comeback user catch throws. It's just what's going to happen this year, guys. So you're going to have to accept that you're going to lose some yards to that. But let's get into the coverages now. So we can split it up into two things. We can split it up into man coverage and zone coverage. Now 3-3-5, we're going to run a lot of zone coverage. So I'll go ahead and break down man first for you, and we'll talk about the weaknesses and stuff. And then we'll go through zone, and then I'll actually go through plays and setups with you. So let's start with the two-man under. This year, two-man under is probably not going to see too much action from me. Last year, two-man under was all you needed. You didn't need to buy an eBook for NCAA last year. Run two-man under and drop people in zones. You couldn't do anything. So this year, let's call two-man under, and let's just call. I'll go with the play I just had. Actually, let me go with a different play. Show you guys what I mean. Perfect. Let's go with this play right here. Now this year, two-man under is alright. It stops a lot of general routes. It's good about that. It'll stop a lot of general routes, things like streaks. Sometimes it'll stop in routes, and does an okay job versus out routes and curls. It can be pretty good, but if your opponent knows what he's doing, it can be beat. And it's really weak to unbumpable routes. Now what do I mean by unbumpable routes? So you see right here, I'm playing two-man under, and what's going to happen is at the snap of the ball, all three of these guys are going to press their wide receiver. So I'll switch the play to show you what I mean. So let's run it, and you see right there, all those guys got pressed and they ended up getting picked off because they weren't really open. So let's check it out again. Now the only person who didn't get pressed was number 4, and that's just because of the nature of the 3-3-5 defense. Had you called maybe dime or a different maybe dollar defense and pressed, he would have got pressed. Still, he probably would have got picked. These two guys get pressed, and they're pretty much not really open. I mean, your best bet is maybe tossing up to this guy, but then the safety would have been over the top to help that out. And you see here, I try to squeeze it into this guy, and he gets picked off. So right here, two-man did a pretty good job. And if I would have threw it to him, maybe he would have got there, or maybe the cornerback underneath him would have made a good play. But when we start calling unbumpable routes, so let's look at it again. Let's go deep pass. And I'm gonna get number 4 out of the way so I can show you guys what I mean. So here we go again with our press coverage, and there's a lot of ways to get guys free and unbumpable. So here's what I mean. I'm gonna put R1 on a streak again, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna motion him. Oh, I can't motion because I already motioned homeboy. Let me go back. So I'm gonna put him on a streak, and I'm gonna motion him, and I'm gonna snap the ball, and you'll see that the cornerback won't be able to press him because I put him in motion, and he has become an unbumpable receiver. Cornerback cannot get his hands on him. So pay attention to 81. Gonna move him. He didn't get pressed, and you see I actually got a man switch over there, nice and easy. Here, let me get a clearer play for you guys, so you guys can see what I mean. Let me just get to the. I'm gonna call a new play from the single back big. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's go ahead and call that. Call two-man under. And I am going to motion 81 on the left end and snap the ball. Snapped him, and he is wide open up the streak. So you see right there, two-man under gets beat by unbumpable routes. Other unbumpable routes would be like the play action pass here. Oh no, wrong play. Another unbumpable route here would be that comeback on the left here. You see him, he doesn't get pressed, and we get a chance to catch the ball. One of my other favorite plays actually is an unbumpable by almost everybody. So another thing, the tight end cannot be bumped, so you have to be careful about that too. So your linebacker is going to be in trouble on that tight end because you can't press him at the line. So here's a great example of an unbumpable play. As you see right here, I ended up getting him open. Now, let's check out the replay of that. So anytime you are in cover, two-man under, you have to understand that you are at risk to unbumpable routes. So right here, he doesn't get a press on him because he heads to the right first. You can't press somebody going who's not coming at you. And you see right here, I get an easy user catch. Also right here, I could have passed lead inside to him again, like I was telling you just a few minutes ago. Posts do a great job of beating man coverage, and I'll just run it for the sake of argument to show you that I can catch that route. Now the beauty of two-man under though is if your opponent doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you could run it and really shut down a lot of stuff. So you see right there, I just get inside, and had he had been bumped, he probably would have been on him. Here I'll get you another example of a post route that I'll have it be bumped and he won't get stopped. Let's go to tight end cross. So I want you to pay attention to circle on the right here. He's going to get pressed. I'm going to try and throw it to him. And I did end up catching him, but man, that was a tight-ass damn throw. More often than not, the cornerbacks get in the way of that. Check that out. Whereas before, my guy didn't get pressed. I didn't have to wait for him. And he could have picked that off. Maybe he was in a better position. Maybe if I would have clicked on. So you are at risk to unbumpable routes. That's all I'm trying to tell you. The next up is cover 1 and cover 0. Basically, what I mean by that is a good example here for me to call cover 1. It is man coverage, a little bit of zone inside, and you'll see that there is an immediate difference. Is that they are not on the line and they're not going to press their man. And a cover 0 is just basically this is a cover 1 because there is a safety back. There is one man back to help the coverage. A cover 0 will be like this. Here's a cover 0 where nobody would be back to help. Everybody's on their own. The free safety's got the running back. He has a responsibility in pass coverage. This is cover 0. This is cover 1. He's going to help in pass coverage. And cover 1 is a actually really awesome defense. I think I haven't heard too much chatter about the cover 1, but I think it's going to be a real ace in the hole for you guys on defense here. Now it's weak to the deep pass, and what I mean by that is like a deep streak. So I'll show you that in a second. And it's just poor coverage in general. Like watch this. Like I'm just going to send my tight end on an out route. I'll send them both on out routes. And he just gets open, like he just got downfield, and it's just poor coverage in general. Let's see what else is a poor. Another out route from my wide receiver here. The cornerback is nowhere near. That is like your mom could make that pass on cover 1 in video game and real life if they played like that. The problem with it is and it's been this way for years as well. Cover 1 is always man coverage, always played differently than cover 2 man coverage, and that's because the cornerbacks are reacting because they have no help. In two-man under, they would have 2 guys deep for help, but since they're in cover 1, it's all the defenders on the field kind of get like I don't know how to describe it. They get like anxious because they don't want to get beat. So they kind of give a lot of leeway, whereas two-man under wouldn't have made that such an easy pass to make. But what it does do is it beats slants, and I told you guys earlier, slants are going to be huge this year. So not only does it get in the way of slants, but you got a guy in the middle to help out. It's also pretty good. You see right there, great defense versus a slant. You think you're going to get it, but that cornerback ends up covering it pretty well. You see right there, the linebacker in the yellow zone got in the way of that slant, and I'm just going to keep trying to throw them to prove my point. You see right there again, he almost picked off that slant. It's like they come in just in time. So really, you're kind of forced to throw the slant down, and really you're held to a 3-4 yard gain. Sometimes the cornerback will collide, so it's also good against posts. So check out circle on the post coverage here. Cover 1 comes back inside. That time he got turned around, but it does do a good job because it plays inside, whereas other coverages will just let that post get inside. So right here, boom, see right there, he almost got that post. Let's go to the replay. So for some reason, cover 1 jumps inside routes, but when people go anywhere else, they are susceptible to getting beat. Cover 1 also can beat some obscure routes, so you can always try it out. Let's get on to the zone coverage portion here, and let's talk about some of the pros and cons. And let's start with cover 3. And the biggest blaring weakness of a cover 3 is, and we're in perfect position for this, is the seams. Now it's just not any seams, it works a certain way. Now you see the cover 3 has 3 guys back deep, the cornerback, the safety, and the other cornerback. So it's actually good defense to stop a deep pass, and it does a decent job of clogging the middle. You can also use somebody to help clog the middle. But where it is deep is in the seams, and since we're on the right side of the field, the major weakness you're going to see right now in this cover 3 is going to be this seam right here. Right up in here where I got the safety walking. This area right here is really hard to cover in cover 3. If we were on the other side of the field, and let me move over real quick, it's still weak in the seam, but now it's weak in this seam. So let me show you what I mean real quick. I'm going to pass to my tight end of the fade, and nobody's going to do anything about it. Again, your mom could go out there and make this pass. If this is really how it worked in real life, if it was really that easy, we'd all be at some big name colleges right now. So it's so weak in that seam. So that's the weakness of that, but it does cover up everything else pretty decent. Next up, we have the inverted cover 2. This is going to be big in this book because we're going to be running a lot of this inverted cover 2. And what I mean by inverted cover 2 are plays like Storm Red, and plays like 2-Spy Invert, which is the perfect name. So let's check it out. So check this out. Now remember, in cover 3, we had the cornerback deep, the safety deep, and the other cornerback deep. Well, in this cover 2, the 2 cornerbacks play deep instead of like a traditional cover 2 like this. So I just audible to a regular cover 2. Well, the cornerbacks will play the flats and the safeties play deep. But in this cover 2, the cornerbacks play off, and they both have deep responsibility, and other players fill the flat areas later. Another example would be Storm Red. These 2 guys play deep. We have some blitzers coming in, and everybody else is responsible for the middle of the field. So let me go back to the OG play. And the weaknesses of the inverted cover 2 will be the middle, the deep middle where that safety is standing, and the curl outside route. So for example, what I mean by curl is not just the curl route, I mean by the area. So it's called a buzz. Sometimes if you ever played football, they call this area of the field that I just put the safety in, this is the curl to flat. This will defend basically this area of the field that they call the curl to flat. These linebackers, for example, are defending hooks. This linebacker is defending this hook zone. This safety is over here in this hook zone, and this linebacker will eventually work his way to this hook zone over here in this area. So the area that it's going to be weak in is the outside. So for example, I'm going to put 81 on an out route. That's clearly not a curl route, but in that area of the field called the curl, it can get weak. Now right there, our safety made an awesome play. He's got great instincts. He ends up making a banging play, so that's pretty awesome right there. This is going to be one of our cool defenses to run. I'm just trying to see if I can't get like a route in there. So you see right there, he's got nothing to cover, so we can free him up just for the sake of argument. Let's do it now. Let's see who he wants to cover. You see right there, the responsibility is the flat, so the curl is going to be open if anybody's in that flat. But I'll go over adjustments later. I'm just going over weaknesses. It's also weak in the very deep middle because this safety is coming down. The cornerbacks will actually feel stressed to cover that deep middle, and it can get wide open deep. So you see what I mean? boom, right up the deep middle. It's very weak up there, so the inverted cover 2 is weak, those outside out routes and the deep middle. Next up, we'll talk about the cover 2 sink. This is huge last year, man. Last year, cover 2 sink was so popular. And let's see if we can find it. Cover 2 sink. And let's play curl flats. The cover 2 sink is cover 2, and it's weak again in the deep middle, yes and no, depending on the play. In a traditional like NFL offense, the linebacker in the cover 2 would fill this area up as best as he could. So it's either going to be weak in the deep middle or the short middle, and it's weak in the flats. So here's what I mean. Cover 2 sink will allow immediate passes to the flat from your running back or your tight ends, whoever's going out there. So right here you'll see that they actually try to do a good job of defending the flat, but you see eventually he has to sink up to cover that curl route. So it is a pretty tricky defense, and it also, again, it can get beat deep if you're not using deep. Let's see if the linebacker covers. No, almost got sacked there. But you saw the tight end was creeping up deep, so that's the weakness of that. Next up, we will be taking a look at some adjustments to our plays here. This is pretty much what we're going to be running. These different coverages. Cover 3, inverted cover 2, cover 2 sink, 2-man under, and cover 0. That's what we're going to be running. So remember the weaknesses, and now let's adjust to start playing them. So cover 3 in general, let's take a look at how it's working here. And this cover 3 is actually one of my favorite base plays, the cover 3 from the 3-3-5 stack, because it comes with stock purple routes, so you don't have to set them up. And what's pretty cool is those routes really do a good job of defending clogging the middle. Now they're supposed to be more outside, but they do a great job. So pay attention to square here. You see right there, the safety walks right in front of that post route. Let's check a replay out. Kudos to EA on this. They really mixed up the coverages big time, which is going to help because the offense is pretty overpowered still. You see right here, the safety in the purple zone fills right up into that area. Now, had it been in a traditional cover 3 that you might see in the playbook from different places where the safety is often in the flat zone, you might see cover 3 more like this. Now let's see if that post route gets a little bit more open. A little bit, but our linebacker fills in pretty nicely. So they just have different responsibilities, guys. So for example, let's play some curl flats. Let's just see how it reacts. So it immediately leaves the tight end open, but it covers the curl flats up. So let's take a look at that replay. Alright, so check this out. The curl's covered because he's in a curl, he's covering the curl. He's in the buzz zone, which covers curl to flats. So he did his job, but the flat zone's open. So, and again, remember what I told you, the opposite team is open. So here would be like the ultimate cover 3 beater. Something like this. So let's check it out. Let's just, for example, let's just look at it. I won't throw it to anybody. We'll see who they actually end up covering. Not getting sacked yet. Alright, so let's look at the replay and see what happened there. We snapped the ball, and immediately the people that I would like to throw to are the drag that I had coming over the short middle, and the flat zone over here. Now those aren't for big yards, but it's still the opening. And lastly, the seam over here, the tight end attacking the seam, he's got a nice outside. If you pass the outside, we can get it to him. So the big areas you want to cover in cover 3 are this seam over here. So you might want to do something like this. Take this guy over here and put him in a seam like this. So now when we run that play again, I'm just going to ghetto rig it. When we run that play again, the only option really is the drag and the short flat route for a couple of yards. I break off, almost got 10. So anytime you're playing cover 3, you have to be aware of where you're weak. I'm aware of where I'm weak. I cover that area. He's not going to pass to that tight end. Now he has to pass to his drag route, or he has to pass to his flat route. I'd probably go with the curl. Now, if you want to get real anal about it, a way to probably maybe try and cover everything would be something like this. Set up the safety in the deep blue and put your defensive tackle in the spy. The reason being, let's set it up again. So if you notice that our drag has a lot of space, but now we got the spy, and the spy kind of messes up that whole thing. The only problem with that is we're only rushing 2, and our quarterback's going to have a long time. Also, Florida State's quarterback is kind of quick, and he probably would have beat that defensive tackle. Again, I do not like this very much because sometimes the rush time gets a little bit delayed because there's only 2 people rushing. So what you ideally want to do in a cover 3 is set it up like this. Have this set up simply like this, and you want to cover any action over the middle like that. So that's how you want to run your cover 3. It's almost like a cover 4. We have 1, 2, 3 set up like that. So I enjoy it because now he's going to follow him up the seam, and your only weakness would be the other flat to the other side. So for example, nobody's going to get out to cover the tight end, but check out how that ended up playing out. Now we're weak in that flat, but since this guy didn't have much to do, he ended up going over there. So you see our adjustments are pretty good. I cover our weakness and that seam right there, so nobody's going to get that seam pass. And now they're forced to throw, if they want to come in between these guys, they're forced to come out over here or into the flat. And basically what you want to do with your cover 3 guys is just make adjustments. And I like to keep these 3 guys rushing so the quarterback doesn't run and he'll only have 4 to 5 seconds. So if you notice that, for example, if you notice your opponent's not taking advantage of that, if they're not sending somebody up that seam, then there's no reason for you to put that there. So let's say they are running something more like this. Okay. So now you know that for you to adjust to this would probably be more something like this. So if they're attacking the flats, you want to put somebody in the flats. Now again, notice the weakness here is going to be probably the curls. Yep. So now you notice if somebody's playing that defense, it's time to probably get out of this defense. But you also want to be aware if you don't like doing this, if you rather leave that safety in the purple, a good player to user in this situation would be this left outside linebacker, number 52, and you just basically user him and make sure nobody goes in that seam. If nobody goes in that seam, you can go elsewhere and help out the rest of the play. See, that ended up being actually pretty good coverage versus that play we had. Check it out. So for example, again, nobody goes up in that seam. Alright, I'm not going to go there. That way I don't waste this safety going up the seam and he gets to play somewhere else. Also, if you look at the play from the quarterback's perspective, everybody's pretty much smothered. Now again, the main weakness of your cover 3 zone is going to be the opposite seam, but also is going to be the post route. So let's see if we can't get that post route in there eventually. Yep. So it's a tough throw to make, but I'm telling you guys, this is going to be big this year online, hitting that post route. But that is why we set up our audibles the way we do. So now we're tying back in our audibles. So if you notice that's what they like to run, we can audible to the cover 1, and we have a better chance to defend those in routes. You see right there? Woo! Perfect checkmate. Perfect. It worked out perfectly. So they were starting to beat our cover 3. We audible to the cover 1 because it stopped the play. And check this out. First of all, I don't know. I think you'd have to be pretty stupid to consider throwing that, because the cornerback's in the way too. That safety lurked right up in there. Check that out. Woo! Perfect job by that safety, man. Let's take a look at everybody else. This probably would have been your only option because he's getting beat deep. And again, that's the real quick. Allow me to backtrack as I audible to cover 1. You can get beat deep in cover 1 from streaks, especially if you have a super fast wide receiver. Now you see right there, he did a good job, but imagine if he was a faster wide receiver, he would have got beat. So it can help to have fast corners. So again, guys, cover 3, common adjustments to your cover 3, something like this. If you don't want to sacrifice that, simply user this left outside linebacker. Cover the seam. If nobody goes there, cover somebody else. If somebody's attacking your flats, then you're going to have to either go to a new coverage or put somebody in the flat. So for example, if somebody's doing something like this, set it to the flat, make an adjustment, and everything else is covered. Again, guys, all you're trying to do is shut down reads and go elsewhere. So one last point with the cover 3. So we're going to make an adjustment here. So now our safety is going to cover that flat, and then let's say they're bothering us with that post route, we can try and spotlight circle, or we can simply, now that we know that that's what they like to do, we can take that linebacker and come out and cover that post, and that'll be our job. So you see right there, check that out, what happened there with the spotlight. I spotlighted the post, and this cornerback really followed him inside. So we're just trying to make adjustments, and eventually I ended up getting pressured. Let's go back again. So all the things happen that I talked about earlier in the video. I don't know why he got around him. That happens a lot this year too, guys. For some reason, the defensive ends will sometimes, if they're a good defensive end, will just flat out beat the tackle. This happens to me, for me, quite a bit actually. So it's pretty cool. Don't count on it though. But like I said, we learned what our opponent liked to do, and we made an adjustment. We knew our weakness of the defense. We made the adjustment. We learned what he wanted to do. We did those things, and we ended up shutting it down. We got the flat covered. Our cover 3 guys got him deep over here. Our yellow guy's following that guy. He's in the middle of the field to help out. Who else? And I ended up covering that post route by using it and spotlighting him. So there was nowhere to go on that play. We just so happened to call the perfect adjustments for that play and ended up getting sacked. So there was no hope there for the cover 3. I mean, for our opponent versus our cover 3. Next up, let's take a look at our storm red and adjustments we can make. Now remember where you are weak. It's called drive. Now let's switch it up. Let's switch it up a bit. So when you call that storm red, you're obviously going to be weak on the outsides. But the beauty of this play is that it gets pressure with no adjustments. See right there, I didn't do anything and I got pressured. Look, I called the play, I hiked it, and that guy comes right off the edge. Let's see what happens when we leave the running back on his delayed blue. We end up getting picked, and then I get sacked in about 4 or 5 seconds. So I love it because it's such a great pressure. But again, you are weak in other areas. Right there, I still ended up getting hit, even though that running back should have been blocking. So let's block him. Because see, I'm already having to adjust to storm red. Because look, I was trying to run the play to show you guys, and I was getting hit. I had to adjust. So it's pretty cool because now he has to block his running back, or else he's going to get hit. And now he's passing to the out route. So you see right here. So how can we adjust to this? Oh, I don't want to stop the pressure. So let's put our linebacker in a buzz zone, and let's spotlight that out route. Alright, so now we're going to block. And let's see who else we can't get to now. Alright, so you see right there, the drag is open now. So now, alright, he made a great read. So now we've established that our Storm 2 red on the past 2 plays is getting great pressure. But now he's starting to make better reads. So let's start it all over again. Now we've got that. We'll put this safety in a yellow. So hopefully he'll help out with that drag. Or even maybe a spy. I'd rather have him either in a flat or a yellow, really. So the spy, so he can catch that drag. So let's try it out now, and we'll spotlight our out route and see what happens here. So out route's covered. Let's go to the drag route, which gets stopped because we dropped our safety back. So we made an adjustment. Let's try it again. So let's see if we can't get even a better like. That drag route crawls in. Oh, no. I mean, he's going to get tackled for a short gain. So now our opponent knows that if he doesn't block his running back versus us, he's going to get hit pretty quick and have to make a quick throw. And that's what we want, a quick throw out of the Storm 2 red. Now you can, here's some adjustments like I said. You can do something like this. And then you want to use this safety. So first thing you want to read is anybody coming deep. I see this post route. I cover it. Boom. Let's take a look at that. So again, guys, we've been establishing our Storm 2 red because it's my favorite base play, and I recommend it to you to be your base play. We come out. We do a pretty good job of covering. I mean, the only option here is this guy right here. He'll get some yards. Let's see, what are we on the? We're on the 45. Yeah, he would have ended up getting. He he would have got almost 10 yards. So right there, we give up that. He's well covered. So you come out, I'm by him. He walks right into that linebacker. Honestly, the running back would have been the only guy. So, and then I'm coming up to cover this post because I see him coming deep. But I mean, he was pretty much back here. So only weakness is he would have had to bring somebody back into this area right here. So that's how we can adjust our Storm 2 Red. Another adjustments for Storm 2 Red, maybe something like this. So now I know that he's not really passing to that side of the field. I can do this, and then I can keep that safety in the deep middle. I can user him. I can be somebody else. So for example, I'll be this linebacker now because I'll see if he wants to pass to the left here. Nobody's going to the outside flat, so I'll be responsible for that in the middle. I got my safety deep because now I'm not using him anymore, and I got outside and inside help. So let's check it out. He's blocking his running back because he knows the pressure is going to come. So we come out, nobody goes to the flat. I help out there, and that is really awesome coverage. And the guy's probably got some in about 5 or 6 seconds. Just didn't go down right away. Let's check it out. Out route's covered. Flat route is a little bit better defended. Now he's going to make a stop here just in case. The tight end on the in route is out of the question immediately. And our post route is getting smothered right here. You could throw that, but I probably would have leaked back in time to cover that. Also, our safety is there to make sure that isn't a home run touchdown. But really, guys, what you want to do here is make sure that your opponent can beat your Storm 2 Red. Make them make you make adjustments. Because if they can't beat it and they're getting hit, that's what you want. Let's see what the deep pass looks like. So what the Storm Red does do a good job of is covering up the middle pretty well. So you see right there, it did a great job of covering up the middle play. So you want to run Storm 2 Red to cover inside passes. Let's check out the replay. Let's just check it out from the quarterback's perspective. So right here we see we have the deep pass covered. What about over here? How are we looking? He's covered pretty good. Yeah. If you throw it to him, that's going to be the cornerback's ball. That tight end is done. And really, that's your only option. But again, you're supposed to be using the safety so that you got to cover him. So it does a good job of defending like downfield over the middle passes. So something more like this. Check this out. Really, our only option was that drag because, again, he's going to the flat area, which is the weak point of the defense. So Storm 2 Red is to get pressure. See right there? He has to throw that ball because in about another second, he's going to get hit. Again, you always want to use the safety in Storm 2 Red. If you're not going to use the safety, always put him in the deep blue. So, for example, if I'm going to cover somebody else, like let's see what route is giving me issues. Let's say I want to cover that running back because he's coming out of the backfield. I put my safety in the deep blue. I'll cover the running back. And that way, you're not going to get beat deep by that post. And we still got pressure in about 5 seconds, just like that's our goal, 5-second pressure. So if you're not going to use that safety, put him in a deep blue. If not, you're going to want to use him in that yellow and drop back. And again, Storm Red does a great job of just covering the downfield passing. So again, I don't have 2 pairs of hands, so I'm just going to put the safety in the deep blue to symbolize me covering that tight end going deep. You see right here, deep pass is a no-no. Nobody's open, 4 or 5 seconds. So you want to get out of that when they're passing outside. And a good defense, what we just seen earlier, when people are passing outside, is this 2-spy invert. So, and the reason I love this 2-spy invert is because we're not sacrificing run D. Check this out: 1, 2, 3 linemen, 1, 2, 3 linebackers for 6 people. This guy, the safety, and this other safety, 8 in the box, and we also have our safety in yellow. So remember what we talked about in our run defense video. He's going to come down and help if they run the ball, and if not, you're going to use him and drop back if anybody goes deep. So again, we're not being aggressive with our blitz, but it's still an awesome coverage. So let's just check out how it goes against this play. Right there, ended up making a snap decision. So let's check it out. And I liked it because it made me wait. It made me think about what I wanted to do. So I want to get it to my out route guy here. He does a good job of covering it until homeboy comes down here. Check it out. See that? Now that probably would have been me covering that. And this guy, he does a good job. Now I probably could have passed it to him, but he's not going to score the touchdown because he's going to stop him. And right now it seems like on this play, this is the only guy with nothing to do. So let's adjust to this play again. So let's make some adjustments. Now remember, guys, if you don't want to use that safety, please put him in a deep blue and make sure he's in the middle. See that right there? So I was over here and I deep blued him, but look out where he was. You don't want that. You want him in the middle. That's what you want it to look like. But more than not, you're going to want to use this guy. Let's start making some adjustments. Let's put the linebacker in a yellow. Let's put this guy in a purple. Let's put this linebacker in the flat. And since this guy's not seeing any action, let's put him in a yellow. And let's see if we can't shut down this play a little bit better. Again, can't pass to the flat because I'm out there. So again, the basic science to the play right there, to my coverage, was I was going to shut down that out route, which I did. Check that out. Good coverage. Two guys in the way. He sees him, comes down to defend him, stops that. Tight end is smothered over the middle because cover 2 invert does a good job of covering the middle. Storm 2 red and this cover 2 invert is good. This guy drops back in the yellow, so we can't get the quick pass off for the slant. For the post. And I'm covering that deep post. Check it out. The crazy pick. Great job. So you see right there, that cover 2 invert does a great job of just covering. You can make some adjustments. So that's the cover 2 invert. Last but not least, I'm not going to go too deep into these. These are more blitzes than coverage, but let's look at NCAA Blitz 2 and 3. And let's check it out. Alright, so we're going to get into this and set it up. So again, quick setup is spread the defensive line, re-blitz this linebacker right here, and we're good to go for the blitz part. Now let's take a look at how the coverage looks, and just to see the pressure, I'm going to get the running back out of the way. You see we get edge pressure. It comes in, and so they have to block a running back again. So if they don't block a running back, they're going to get sacked. So right away, this route is initially covered, but he comes down to help out. It's pretty sneaky because if you want to throw to that, you see that he gets covered. Your eyes get taken away from that because you think it's covered. Over the middle, pretty good job. I probably could have forced it to him. And the post has got a lot of space over the middle. So let's start making some adjustments to our blitz here. So again, let's set it up so our pressure comes in. I don't want that out route, so I'm going to put our running back, cornerback in a yellow. Now let's go back to the original play. Notice how he's coming in here, but when I set him to a yellow, it goes out deeper. So we're going to make that adjustment. Set our blitz back up. And then we're probably going to use this linebacker. So let's check it out here. Now the whole purpose of this play again is to get pressure and not to get beat deep. So I'm going to make sure I cover. Boom, right there. That is awesome right there. Let's check that out. So at the snap of the ball, we cover deep. He's smothered. Really the only option, because he's going to get hit, is the tight end and the running back on the delayed blue. So unless they're deliberately looking for this, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Again, I'm covering that tight end over the middle. Eventually, I would have had to come back to him. Again, you could probably hit that, but he's doing a good job of containing that post. And eventually, that would have been my job to go back. So you see that I'm giving up a lot of space under the middle because I would have dropped back to help out. But what I'm hoping for is for this to happen, the sack. What I'm also hoping for is for him to take his running back out the game by blocking. Set up our D again. So now this play is a little bit funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-yellow this linebacker so he stays more to the middle. And let's run it now. Covering that tight end. And wow, that's 4-second pressure. So boom. We cover the reads. some reason that drag gets, I don't know what happened to him. We cover the tight end, cover the out route, and that's the only option here. So just for the sake of argument, let's cover the out route and let's cover the drag. So we're gonna do that, and let's try and do it without endangering our blitz. So let's go ahead and do something like this. So in this defense, I would then end up using this linebacker right here. So I'm hoping that the flat route and that yellow route from the cornerback take care of the out. The flat route is going to take care of the drag, and I'm going to watch the middle. Let's see how it ended up playing out. Again, we got the 4-second pressure. So boom, right off the bat, he's done. He's done. If you pass it to him, it's going to be, if you pass it to him quick, that's your best hope. If you pass it to him late, that's going to be a pick or a incomplete pass. Out route's done. The tight end is done. And by the time he's probably thinking about that post or waiting for that post to develop, he's getting pressured. So let's check it out. We get picked up. The running back stays in. He probably helps the blocking logic of the lineman. And 4 seconds later, we ended up getting the sack. So it is possible to adjust these defenses. If you feel like you are getting beat with the NCAA Blitz too deep, you can try going to the NCAA Blitz 3 just for a different setup. I really like to stick with 2 because I just like the coverage behind 2. I like the cornerbacks in the yellow zones to stop those out routes and curls routes. You know what I mean? So let's set it up again. Again, same idea, and let's see how our coverage gets in there. I love how that cornerback played that. So let's check it out again. Again, the blocking running back messes up our coverage, our blitz coverage. We still get there. Our defensive tackle breaks free. That was going to be about 3.5, 4 seconds. So he's initially open if they make the quick read. But check this out. I wait, and that cornerback comes back down because he has nothing to do. That was pretty awesome. Great logic from EA right there. How's our tight end looking? He's looking done. So that's pretty awesome. Check these 2 guys blanket him, and we'll probably be using one of those guys. He's open for a nice gain. So again, it's the same thing. And again, we're containing that safety's containing him. Check out where he starts. He starts about what? 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. Look how deep he gets. That's so awesome right there. So it's pretty cool. So let's set it up again. Let me get my running back out the way so I can show you that the pressure is coming in. And so let's start adjusting. So what I might do, let's try something similar again. Flat, buzz, re-yellow him, and let's see what happens. Cover the tight end. He's done. Really, the only option there was let's see what the option was. Get it to that running back right there for a couple yards. So that's his only option. Again, if you don't want the blitz, if you can call this blitz. Let's say you get stuck in it and huddle up and hurry up. Boom, set this up like that. And then we can let's use this guy, the left outside linebacker, because again, our seam is weak. Even though this guy is right here, we want to mind our seam. Remember, cover 3 is weaken the seam. We're going to help cover, and by golly, we shut it down. So again, same adjustments. Again, all I'm trying to show you guys is you can adjust your defense from any play to beat almost every single passing concept your opponent's throwing at you. That's going to be it for the 3-3-5 stack. Other plays I do enjoy for coverage and mixing it up. Let's take a look. I just like this base cover 3 because of the purples, because again, they do a great job of getting inside. They disrupt a lot of stuff. This is the base cover 3 from Oki. The only reason I'm calling it from here and not from 3-3-5 stack is because it kind of looks like a 3-4 defense. So you got the 3 linemen and then the 4 linebackers. So if you like that look, there you go. Be happy with that. And again, it's just those purple routes do a great job of playing inside. It really forces your opponent. It forces your opponent to make the short pass, which you will find out if they're accustomed to. If they're not making the short pass, then you don't have to make any adjustments. Again, the running back, that tight end is even pretty well covered. He's going to complete that pass for, where are we? At 45. He's going to complete it for at least 5 yards, but he's got to throw it. And if you get them in 3rd and long, that's going to be your ideal thing right there. 3rd and long, defend the seam. Again, adjustments right here. You can take this linebacker out of the blitz. See, before he was originally rushing. Put him in the seam, so you don't have to worry about that seam. You can even do something like this. Get the flat route going, buzz, and then yellow, yellow. So then here, I'd cover it like this. Sure nobody's coming deep. That guy's coming right into me, and everybody's covered. So everybody's happy with just a couple little adjustments. Boom, he's coming out. Again, right here, he's only going to get 5 yards. These 2 guys are covered, and we don't sacrifice. We still get 4 men rushing, and we're going to get 4-second pressure. Check that out. Look at those moves they make. Rush, get off, there. Both of the defensive ends get there. So, again, guys, I just love to leave 3 men rushing. I try not to get any less. So, let's try some more mix-ups here. Let's try this. So I'm the only one in the middle of the field right now. He's the only one coming over the middle. I picked that off. So look, it is possible to make an adjustment and cover everybody. It's just when I do that, I'm alone in the middle of the field, so that may not be ideal. So remember your adjustments for the cover 3 guys. Get somebody in the seam, and you can play it like this. That way you could focus on underneath. Let's go back to regular. You can drop it like this. Now just remember that if you do this, you're the only one in the middle to defend. So you got to defend that. Didn't press triangle in time. So those are the adjustments for that. Just showing you a different way to run cover 3. And a couple of the last plays in here are going to be 3-3-5 split cover 2 and cover 1. Let's check out cover 2. Let's get a new play in there. Let's get in. Now that's a good play, curls. I'll run curls again because it's a good play because it stretches the defense. Let me go back to the recent plays. It stretches the defense. The only problem with stretching the defense is you have to make the reads. So your opponent has to show you that they can make those reads and make the right throw. Otherwise, they're going to get hit. Now, I love this because I just love the alignment, the way the guys line up. The safety is not committing fully back. He's right there in the middle. So it doesn't look like cover 2, guys. But it really is, because in the traditional cover 2 safeties will be back, but it looks like some type of cover 3 because this safety's back here. It's just a confusing look, and it's actually really great. It's just really awesome defense. God, nobody was open. So I ran that play curls, and you see right there, it actually shuts it down. Nobody was open. Boom. Best bet would have been him. He's coming free, but that's going to be a tough throw to make. These 2 guys are covered. And again, I would have been using, who's that, the safety? Yep. You user the safety, user the middle. You follow him. Follow that guy over. That way he doesn't throw to him, and by then he's sacked by the time he's made all his reads. So the only way to probably get a weakness in this to have this out route. Look at oh my God, the cover 2 from the 3-3-5 split just covers so well. Check this out, guys. He presses him, does his job, covers the running back, and then I got him on the out route, and this linebacker comes in, covers him. I will be using the post route. Let's run it back. Comes off. I'm using that. What's happening over here? The flat route's covered. The out route's covered. Oh, the cover 3. The cover 2 from the split is so amazing. So basically what's happening on this split is it's almost as if somebody did this. Somebody did that. Now let's the the weakness obviously is going to be the immediate middle. So an adjustment that I would like to make is probably putting this lineman in the middle of the field because I'm covering deep. So let's adjust the play a little bit. Man, this is annoying. So let's go with this. Let's make a read. Let's make a move. Oh my, there we go. Finally get some space. So bada bing, bada boom right there. Let's look at that in the. Yes, I said bada bing, bada boom from New Jersey. All right, so let's check it out. He's done by design of the play. This flat guy's covered. He's covered because I'm using him. The only hope is the drag route. So really, and I got good yards off that, mind you. So here, let's make adjustments to our play. Again, if you don't want to use the safety, I want to stop that drag route. Put him in the deep blue. And drop this lineman back. You still got 3 rushers. This linebacker and these 2 linemen coming outside. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. And I'm going to use her. Now I'm going to use her this lineman so I can stop that drag route from happening. So I know that's my only weakness. Everything else is freaking smothered. Check that out. Go ahead, throw that so I could pick that off. Oh, he caught it. He caught it for a short. Oh, and that's why I said right there, guys, you got to be patient. You have to be patient because I covered everything. I played good defense, but he still caught it. Right there. Boom, I'm on that. I'm on that. I'm eating that for lunch. I'm on that. Go ahead. Throw it to that post route. Try. You know what? I'm going to try it. Let's try it right now. I'm feeling good about this. Set it up like I did. Gonna try and hit that post route. It's such a great defense, man. Such a great defense. Now this play is weak to things like the draw and stuff like that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, and guys, I'm sorry about the choppiness. For some reason, NCAA, when you're in practice mode for a long time, the gameplay gets choppy. But damn, I forgot my point. Yeah, it is weak to the run. So let's go ahead and because those 2 safeties, these guys are going backwards. So technically, the only people who are going to play the run are the 4 linemen and the 2 other linebackers. They're the only ones who are going to come down. Let's see how it looks. I mean, that wasn't too bad because the safety came down and filled it out. So, but man, it is such a great defense. Another thing you can do is you can make it look like a blitz is coming by using press coverage. So check this out. This safety comes down. It looks like you're stacking the box. You got 8 in the box. And it's actually pretty decent pass defense. So I'm going to try and get it to circle and see if that wide receiver can't make it. Now what's going to happen is my cornerback's going to press him. And that'll slow him up and give time for my safety, hopefully, to recover. By the time I even think... this cover 2 from the 3-3-5 split, guys, is really nice. By the time I'm getting ready to make that throw, somebody has came free. So my defensive line made a play. They had 3 seconds. When you rush 4, guys, when you rush 4, average time is 3 to 4 seconds that they're going to get there. So every time you send 4, always try to send 4 as much as I can. Let's see. But look, he presses him. Look for this. Let's focus on the safety. He's already there. It's not going to happen. You'd have to throw a perfect bullet pass, which is probably very much possible. Let's press. Let's block the running back because I'm getting hit. I couldn't get it to him. But check out what your boy does, man. Check out how smart these corners are on cover 2. He presses him and follows him backwards for a little bit, so you can't just immediately throw to him. Then he comes down to help defend the flat. After that, the safety is already in position to make the play. A similar example would be the 3 deep switch. And you can find that in split as well. It's called 3 deep switch. Basically, it's the same thing. And when you can press, safeties come down, and the outside cornerbacks are going to press. So it's going to be the same thing. So they're going to press, let your safeties get back in time, to make a play, which they do, and they're deep shell. So same idea from there. You can also access this concept from the 3-3-5 stack. Get in there, 3-3-5 stack. Don't make me a liar. Yes, 3 deep switch in the 3-3-5 stack, which is also in your audibles. Same idea, press coverage. And this is great because now look, guess what this looks like, guys? Looks like Storm Red. Boom. Same exact thing. Look at that. Safeties came down. I'm gonna go back to the old play. Press. Don't move. It still looks like there's pressure coming from your Storm Red, and really you're playing a really good pass defense. They're getting pressed. You don't know who to hit. Make a bad throw. It's just good coverage all in all together, guys. That those outside press from the 3-3-5 is very key in your pass coverage. And the last two things I want to go over are cover 1 and the cover 2 sink from the nickel. And so let's look at this play, purposely quick slant, and I'm gonna run the Oki split cover 1, and I'm gonna give you a variation. So what's cool about this play is that it really helps to stop the slants. Check that out. It just makes it really messy over the middle for the slants. Now, slants are really good this year, guys. A lot of the elite guys are already talking about how great slants are, but check out what cover 1 did. Shut that bleep down. Almost picked that. On top of that, the linebacker's in the way, making that a hard pass anyway. The linebacker could have picked that. I know what you're thinking. This guy looks like he's got some space right there, so let's go ahead and let's try and get it to him. And he stopped for a short gain. More often than not, guys, you're going to see that cornerback is going to do a great job of jumping. This is a great defense for defending slants, guys. He jumps that. Boom. So great. Now, the reason being is because for some reason, slants just beat everything. I don't know why. Check it out. I'll run this play versus some other coverages. He gets space. See how much space he got? That was an easy decision. Let's run it. Let's look at it versus cover 2. Is 2-man under. As soon as the defense allows me to, the audibling system sucks. So let's go 2-man under, and those two guys are going to get pressed, but they're going to get open. Check this out. Look how open he got. Whereas when we played cover 1, the cover 1 was jumping the slant routes. He gets pressed. He does his job. Both of them are open. Check out him underneath too. Now that cornerback did an awesome job of pressing because he made him run short. He's open as well. So to really get in slants and inside routes coming inside, you're going to want to look to cover 1 to shut that down. Let's see what happens when we press. I'm experimenting with you. Shut down. Nope, you see that he got beat inside. So slants really beat press coverage really well. So you don't want to press when you're in cover 1. You're going to want to stay back just like so. And the great beauty about it is that you can go back and forth between cover 3. And so now they're going to think they're going to run a defense to beat your thing, and they get confused, and then all of a sudden make a bad throw. Good catch there, though. So the cover 1 has its purpose. Now, I'm going to show you a variation of cover 1 I like to run. And I'll tell you why as soon as I get there. And we're going to go to 3-3-5 stack, and we're just going to call cover 1 from here. Plain old cover 1. And let's go to a shotgun spread. There we go, slants middle. That's perfect. Let's move to the middle of the field. Let's move that to the middle of the field. And again, remember what I told you guys, the cover 1 shuts down the slants. Wow, they are all ate up. But the reason I wanted to get to you guys in this was because we're going to make an adjustment here. So So let's say they're beating you to the outside, like maybe the running back's getting to the flat. Maybe they're doing something like this. You see what I did there? I set some out routes up. So you still want to defend the slants, but you want to also defend other guys too. So what we can do is set up our linebackers in 2 purples like this. So what I did was I took the blitzing linebacker, put him in the purple. Took the other linebacker, put him in the purple. And I'm about to blow your mind, beginner players. I'm going to cover this middle linebacker, and check out what I do here. I'm going to let that running back go. I'm going to help cover the middle. And we get 4-second pressure, what I'm talking about. We're completing our goals. So, Z-Boy, why did you let the linebacker, the running back just run out free? I let him run out free because these 2 guys would have been there to make the stop. There's no need for you to you always want to try and cover some area in the middle of the field, whether it's the seams, whether it's just the middle. You always want to be there. And since I had those 2 guys in purple zones, I didn't need to cover him. So now I'm essentially playing a zone up the middle with him. And I got zone on the outside and a really great man coverage in the middle. I also got the safety deep. So it pretty much looks like this. And again, you don't have to worry about the running back going to the flat. All the slants are just shut down. Ugh. It is done. I loved it. And then the cover one, just if you're ever having a problem with an exotic route, somebody's just beating you, cover one is a great route to turn to. For example, real quick before I leave the cover one and get on with the rest of the last bit of the portion of the coverage. Thank you guys for listening in. I know it's a long video, but pass defense is so weird. You really have to spend time practicing it. I also do some games so you guys can see how I play with defense. So right here, this route on the right here is pretty weird. So I'm going to audible to I didn't mean to audible to 2-man under. I'm going to audible to Storm 2 Red. And of course, I'm going to baseline so I get my pressure in. So I am going to get sacked here, but this route right here is pretty funky because, look, it gets into an area that's hard to cover. So you see right there, it got wide open. So let's go to cover 3. And let's run it again. Same business. It got open. Not as wide open, but still, that's an open pass right there. But for some reason, the cover 1 seems to really do a number on this route. Now, I got open there again, but cover 1 will sometimes jump this route pretty good. So right there, he doesn't let him get as open as much, so it's a good answer to that. Again, you can also set up that defense I just talked to you about. Boom, like that. Now you probably would want to leave that guy on him like that. Maybe something like this, and then we can spotlight square. Let's see if we can get it to him now. Now, see, we spotlighted him and we did a better job, so just made some adjustments there. So cover 1 is, for its faults, for letting other routes that, like simple routes, get open, it isn't a bad defense because it can hold up against some other different types of tactics. Last but not least, guys, let's go over adjustments for the cover 2 sync and how I like to run it. My next pass defense video will be about what you want to call in certain situations. So let's go ahead and set it up. So what I like to do with this right here is I like to drop this lineman back in the yellow, and I like to drop this linebacker back in the deep blue. And what I'll do is I'll probably cover like this guy right here. So I'll cover it. I'll see that they're covered, make sure everybody else is good, and I get 4-second pressure. So I've been preaching to you guys, 4-second pressure. 3 guys get in there, and I get great pass rush from my lineman. So it's covered. He's pretty much, he'll probably get a couple yards, but he'll get chased from behind. This guy's done. Middle of the field is done. Homeboy's done. He's open. That's the only open option is the drag. So I love it because it's great down the field defense. Down the field defense, coverage you think that's what it's good at. Short defense, not exactly. You're going to need a flat. So let's start making an adjustment. So I pretty much covered everything there except for that drag route, right? So let's see what it would take to cover that drag route. Let's do something like this and see if that defensive tackle won't cover him. He does a great job of helping limit the yards there. Did he completely cover him? No. But what you can do also, if you don't like doing that, just follow him with the underneath guy. Follow him, and the R1, see the middle of the field gets open. So you're gonna have to constantly make adjustments. But I'd probably just do something like this. Peep game. I'll cover homeboy. Why didn't he go to the flat with him? I must have set it up wrong. Let's do that. I'm going to use this guy now that I figured out what you like to do. I'm going to make sure you don't get deep down the middle. Covered that guy, and everybody else is done. So there's always an adjustment. There's a play you can turn to for everything, guys. I mean, done and done. Done. He's initially covered. He eventually gets open. Probably going to hit him, but he'll stop him. And this guy, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he didn't cover him that play, but again, you got to be patient on defense. So you did a good job of covering there. Again, adjustments you can make is just putting your cornerbacks in yellows. We'll do that again. Let's see if that helps out with those wacky routes. 5-second pressure right there. I mean, come on. Everybody's covered. Our adjustments worked. My yellow routes helped cover that guy. He's outside with this guy. He's covered. I'm covering the middle. That adjustment I made worked, and I'm getting my 4-second pressure that I'm talking about. So all your bases are covered, and you're still getting rushed pretty good. So you don't have to drop everybody back to have good coverage, guys. So I hope you got a lot out of this pass adjustment video. I know it's difficult, but if you can, guys, just watch me play in the game section where I get some games on and show you exactly what I mean and getting in there. Enjoy the rest of the ebook. Watch my other passing defense video. It's a lot shorter, and it's going to go over just playing defense all around the whole field and what you should be calling in situations. So guys, enjoy the rest of the ebook. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.